All right, up next we have a Rollins Kane segment in the authorities' office. Rollins wants some kind of a plan to take care of Brock Lesnar during the contract signing tonight, and Kane basically tells him to just chill the F out, dude. I got this. I got this under control. This is handled.
Yeah, pretty much like Seth. The plan is in place, and Seth's like, well, can't you clue me in? I mean, it's not to provoke Brock again, is it? And then Kane's just pretty much saying, trust me, and if you can't, the only one that's really going to get hurt here, is you. Um, and he just kind of walks off, leaving Seth with his thoughts. So it's kind of teasing a little bit of underlying tension there. I mean, these guys weren't having a shouting match at each other by any means, but, I mean, you could tell there's definitely a disconnect between Kane's thought process and Seth's anxiety, and I think that was played well in this segment, so no complaints here.
Absolutely. Up next, we had a match that was supposed to happen but didn't actually end up happening. It was supposed to be Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt, but, WWE was like, aha, just kidding, because Bray Wyatt's doing his entrance, and when the lights come back on, Roman Reigns is standing behind him, and he beats the living crap out of him.
All the better, if you ask me, because I really didn't want to see Ambrose versus Wyatt again. I know if people go back in our 12-hour archives when their feud happened the first time around, I know you weren't the biggest on it, so I felt like this was the much better route to take, the much preferred route to take.
I might have been the
And
first person to predict that it wasn't going to do jack squat for either one of them.
yeah, really. And Roman Reigns, like you said, he whooped that ass.
Yeah.
Took Bray Wyatt pillar to post, but Bray got offense in himself, but he had to use a lamp to slow down Roman Reigns, and even that didn't take him out. I thought Dean Ambrose might have run in after that, but no, Roman held his own, which was great. I think that's what was needed. The last thing you want to do, I think, is to make Roman Reigns seem like he has a dependency on Dean Ambrose. So I felt like they handled that quite well. And yeah, Roman looked like a beast. He looks, very angry, very enraged. And I think that's the kind of tone you want to set for a match like this 6 days before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now we get to it, John. The segment of the night that wasn't a match. The Divas, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox come out. Nikki talks about how she's beaten everyone. She has no competition left. She gave the Divas a chance, and none of them stepped up and took the belt from her. And then Stephanie McMahon comes out, reminds Nikki Bella who the real boss is, and then proceeds to introduce Paige, and then Becky Lynch, and
Becky
then
Lynch,
Charlotte,
Yep.
and then Naomi and Tamina come out, and they're acting like, oh, well, we deserve an opportunity too, because we never really got one, even though you kind of did, and we're awesome too. And then Stephanie's just like, oh no, I agree with you. I'm glad you're out here. There's someone else I know of that thinks like you and takes what they feel they deserve. She calls herself the boss, as well as the NXT Women's Champion, and then she introduces Sasha, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. So John, take the reins.
I mean, it was great. They set the table perfectly. Now I can really emphasize here, I love Stephanie here. I thought her promo was fantastic, not to mention relevant,
Yeah.
because she name drops Ronda Rousey and the U.S. national women's soccer team that I think beat Germany in the finals for the championship,
Yep.
which was huge. It was historic. I think it was the first time it was done in years, the U.S. Women's national soccer team getting a championship. So, really big deal. And Stephanie kind of taps into popular culture, has her finger on the pulse, which is great. And it's coming from a woman of power herself. So I think it means more. When she talks about revolution and revolutionary women,
Yeah.
Stephanie is a very prominent figure in WWE. And that's why I say it conveys a whole different kind of vibe when she's cutting this type of promo than, say, if Paige was. Because while I'm sure it would have been impassioned and the delivery would have been acceptable, Paige is really just another women's wrestler, especially with her follies as of late, with the Bella twins and Alicia Fox now. So I felt like Stephanie played her role perfectly. And as far as, again, the scenery of Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks each, kind of taken aside, Becky and Charlotte with Paige, Sasha with Tamina and Naomi, who are now referring to themselves as Team Bad. I want to kind of establish that now. Which, BAD is an acronym for what, Ashton?
Best at domination.
Best at domination. And they're just all staring each other down. And was it the stare down that got the first "This is awesome" chant from the crowd?
The three-way stare down, yeah.
Yeah.
The three-way
absolutely.
stare down got the first one, and then once the Bellas were taken care of and it was just down to the 2 teams involving NXT women, that was the second This Is Awesome chant. Although I will say that one was a lot more faint, but there was also a huge NXT chant while all 3 NXT women had their submissions locked in.
What an image. Because you sent me a picture. Somebody like immediately got it uploaded to the internet. You got to love the internet these days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was that image of the 3 NXT women having their respective submission holds on the Bellas. And we just got to point out, because we're the really big Sasha Banks fans, she had Nikki Bella in the bank statement, and Nikki Bella, the Divas champion, was tapping out to the NXT Women's Champion.
Yep.
As it should be. Dude, what can I say about this? I mean, I had repeatedly said throughout this is the best Diva segment that a Raw had done in years, and you said take your ears and shove it. This is the best Diva segment done ever. And yeah, it's hard to deny it. I mean, everything about this was perfection. You couldn't have had a better execution, and it's funny because I know you and I were getting a little wary, okay, how long are you going to prolong the debuts here? I mean, let's get the story moving. But if it was all for that, totally worth it. Absolutely. Anything else you want to say, man?
No. Dude, here's the thing. This is NXT TwitWow. I almost feel like we should do an entire separate video just talking about this segment, but I guess that you could say that we already did that because of our live reactions. So I'm just going to leave it where it is. This was an amazing segment. I am wholly excited for what is going to come of this little faction warfare that we now have introduced. And by the way, just wanted to note, it is worth pointing out, Sasha Banks is basically now the leader of her little trio with Naomi and Tamina. And the reason I say that is at the end, after the NXT women got all 3 people in Team Bella to submit, and they kind of kicked him out of the ring, and we just had the face-off between the Paige team and the team consisting of Naomi, Tamina, and Sasha. Paige, who I don't think anyone would argue is the leader of her team, was in the middle holding up the hands of Becky Lynch and Charlotte. But on the other side, you would expect Naomi to be the one doing that, but it was Sasha. Sasha was the one in the middle of her team raising their hands, and she really did take the leadership role. And I'm assuming that the whole Team bad thing is a Sasha idea because it's almost exactly the same as Team Bay, which was her and Becky Lynch best at everything.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and again, I say it as a Naomi Mark people. I mean, it's as it should be because A, Sasha Banks is just pure excellence, and B, she's the champion in the equation. She is the current reigning and defending NXT Women's Champion. The champion, of course, should take the helm, which I think makes the championship itself actually mean something because she's leading 2, alleged veterans because Naomi and Tamina have been a part of this business for years.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
And yet, Sasha Banks is so much better than both of them.
Definitely.
Especially Tamina. Maybe Tamina might actually learn how to work a decent match now that Sasha's with her.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. I'm curious what the resolution of this faction warfare is going to be. But you know what? I've got all the time in the world, and I want to sink deep into my chair and enjoy every second of it.
It's unfortunate because if you look at the 9 women that were involved in this segment, there are 2 glaring weak spots, that being Brie Bella and Tamina.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Hopefully they'll kind of be in the background because, I mean, if the closing shot of the whole Raw segment here, or one of, with the submission holds, really featuring prominently the NXT women, that they're going to be at the forefront, which is, again, really how it should be. If this was kind of establishing the precedent, the tone of how these women are going to be handled.
What would make sense to me?
What's that?
Since the WWE is kind of segregating, I guess you could say, because just because Sasha Banks is the one girl that has any kind of color, they put her with Naomi and Tamina. If they want to keep up with that trend, they should swap out Tamina for Alicia Fox and put Eva Marie on Team Bella.
Yeah, I mean, especially because Eva's been putting in the work, but we have yet to see how much she's improved.
Right.
So for now,
or even Natalia, just because they kind of stand for the old guard.
That's true. And Natalia really hasn't done anything with Tyson Kidd's injury, which is
Right.
understandable.
And, I mean, if you watch Total Divas, Natalia's a heel anyway, so why not?
Right. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
You like how I snuck that in there?
Always, always.